Hey everyone, Eric Beans, CEO of HapPhi. It is Tuesday, April the 12th. RIP Gilbert Gottfried just got the word. I hired him in January. He was hilarious. He actually roasted a product that I've rolled out. Great guy. I could tell he was a little sick, and I'm glad I got a chance to work with him before he passed away. And I'm sad to hear that, but what a funny guy while he was here. Today we're going to talk about NFTs. Gilbert would never have gotten involved with NFTs, not unless somebody told him there was money in it and did all the work for him. NFTs, non-fungible tokens. So fungible just means interchangeable. Non-fungible means it's one of a kind. So you actually have a certification. How do you do that? Through the blockchain. Blockchain's the shared ledgers. Look at it as easiest way to look at it is an Excel spreadsheet that's the same sheet is handled by a bunch of different people, and you can't edit it, you can't falsify the data on it. Once everything's been pushed to the public ledger, it's public. That information is actually handled through a bunch of nodes, which are part of the security of the blockchain. So that gives you incredible power to be able to certify, yes, this is mine. Now, right now, it's being used for images. I posted a picture of the monkey up front. So you see a lot of these monkeys, you see a lot of these apes, bored apes and stuff. That's really not what this is about. This is people jumping on early, and they're going to make a lot of money. Most of those high dollar transactions that you see are people buying their own NFTs through other wallets because they're getting the money and just paying the gas price. If you can fool someone into thinking that your monkey's worth 1.3 million and then you sell it for 800,000, you've made 800 grand off of a monkey. Now, is it a JPEG? Yes and no. There's stacked elements to NFT right now, and we'll get into why this is important. A lot of people are just like, this is so stupid. It is stupid, right? You're buying a monkey for that you could screenshot, but it's your monkey, right? So it'll be one of whatever X amount of monkeys, and then you make your bid, you own it, it's in your wallet digitally. That's kind of cool. It really becomes cool for trading cards, art, and then it becomes even cooler when you apply it towards things that matter, like properties, cars, legal documents, companies, mergers and acquisitions, business applications. Right now, it's just the very beginning of this, where everyone's excited to get involved with something at the beginning. Because if you get involved in the beginning, you have a chance of getting something that goes 10,000x. The odds are small, but does happen, has happened, even has happened with NFTs. But the odds of it happening at this point, the market's been pretty saturated. You're seeing most of these projects were launched on Ethereum on account of the fact that OpenSea was number one and OpenSea just used Ethereum. Now OpenSea's added Solana, which is huge. Why is that huge? Because Solana's fees are a fraction of a penny and Ethereum's fees are $68 for something small. Ethereum's fees are garbage, which is why I think even the switch over to proof of work or proof of stake from proof of work will make a big difference on the profitability, but eventually they're going to lose the market share because of speed and cost per transaction. Nobody wants to pay a massive amount to use and utilize a blockchain, and nobody feels like waiting 10 minutes for a block to update. Whereas Solana's instant and basically feeless to a large degree. It's fractions of a penny on average. So big deal for OpenSea, Solana. It's going to change the market of NFTs. You're going to see a lot more of the NFT projects moving to Solana and Cardano and away from Ethereum just because of the cost. But really, the big thing is how we're using it. Okay, so non-fungible tokens, things that can't be changed. We're using it in a business sense. We are going to be tying in. We're not going to actually create a platform yet. I personally think OpenSea and their $13 billion platform is garbage. The technology that we created previously was better, but they were first and they make a ton of money, and hats off to them for that. But it's not a great UX or user experience. It's not a great UI user interface. It's okay. Functionality is not there. It's cumbersome. It's clunky. It's slow, and it's garbage. So we're looking into their we're looking into I'm a fan. We're looking into their API in order to tie in with them just because they're the biggest. But I'm also looking into some other groups as well to evaluate. I mean, there's Axie Marketplace. That's mostly video game stuff. Larva Labs, which is CryptoPunks. Rarible, SuperRare, Foundation, Nifty Gateway. There's a bunch of them out there, that do this sort of stuff. my job is just to dive in and take a look at these UXs and UIs, and not that important really. The API functionality is, because whatever functionality they have, I'm just going to be calling through the API and creating our own UX over top of it. But it has to be able to support the type of volume. So even when you look into an API, there's certain things you have to look into. You have to figure out what the thresholds for the API is. What I mean by that is, how many calls can you do in how much amount of time? So how robust is that API? Is the API only able to handle one call per 10 seconds, one call per second, one call per minute? So certain architectures weren't designed for an API, and then they threw the API on late. Those are not going to be very robust. Sometimes things were developed in an old language or with older technology, or weren't programmed and architected properly, and they really need to be throttled down in order to be able to support the massive growth. So a lot of these companies, and OpenSea was probably one of them, rolled out an MVP, which is basically a minimum viable product, and then grew like crazy, and we're like, oh shoot, what do we do now? So I need to really dig in and see what their thresholds are. So if we bring in a lot of business, we're not in a position where our product is looking like it's failing because we're tied in with another company who wasn't architected properly. So that'll be my job to tie into that, and then to create a really nice UX with some additional functionality to fix some of the issues with OpenSea that I find. It's not a bad thing that they're a disaster. It actually allows us to leverage what we do well to create better stuff on top of what their platform is. So with us, what we'll be having is, it'll look and feel like a marketplace, but a multi-channel marketplace. So you'll have all the NFTs displayed either in a public or private way, where people can go on and make bids or look at what you have like a museum. Eventually, you could even add that type of stuff into a metaverse for a real museum. So people will be able to browse what you have and make offers, buy, sell, or whatever the case may be. But it's not really for sharing the glorified JPEGs. We're going to be building in business functionality for contracts, for real estate. When I say business functionality, these are smart contracts. So it's actually everything you'd find in a traditional real estate contract, including the contract itself. And you could build in fees. So we could build in, and we're not going to do this for us, but we could build in a smart contract and say, look, for every time this property resells, we're going to get 2.5% equity. So every item, physical good or non-physical good or service through the product, could actually be resold and a revenue source if it's built into the smart contract. We can put that in for other people to monetize. We're not going to actually do that for ourselves. Another thing we're going to be doing, so when people actually utilize, tokens, those tokens are going to be burned automatically. But when people are utilizing and pushing different videos up to screens, those are going to be tokenized. So your video becomes an NFT, and that video can then be leveraged by others, and you can actually be paid for people to leverage it. So if you create really good content, you can create a revenue generating source in perpetuity, and or sell it, sell the rights to it. You could sell the rights to your land, your whatever it is, your car, anything digital and or real, physical. So it's not just going to be using NFTs for your standard picture of JPEG. Could be a picture of a JPEG that's associated with an actual automobile. And that's kind of cool. And then that JPEG could actually be, because it is tied to that vehicle, it could actually be encrypted with a digital signal that is one of a kind to open that car and start that car. So there's some cool things you can do there. Any receipts. So when people buy or sell goods and services, our product will create a receipt automatically that is automatically going to be an NFT. So all the things that you've spent through HapPhi will be documented and permanently marked, so you know exactly how much you've spent, actually how much you've received, how much you've made. All of those things will be NFTs, which basically just means a permanent record in there for you to be able to keep access to everything you have. There's going to be a bunch of other cool stuff. You'll be able to NFT yourself. You could actually market yourself. So today also, I pushed up a piece of music to CD Baby. And, when I push up a piece of music now, it goes to Spotify, Apple, iTunes, all that stuff. In the future, I'm just going to take it and upload it as an NFT and create digital content that way, and allow people to listen to it and buy into it if they want. So maybe I'll take 50% of the song and say, I'm going to break out, 1,000 shares of this song, and I'm going to keep 500 of them, and I'm going to let other people own 500 shares at, who knows, maybe $10 per share. Still, that's $5,000 that I make off a song if they like it, if I can sell it. Those NFTs can also be tickets. Okay. So replacing Ticketmaster, when you go to an event, you can validate that that ticket is for that particular event, that it hasn't been copied, that it is the original, it's not a fraud, and it can all be done digitally through the phone. So shopping. So when you do Apple Pay or something like that now, this is a little different. You'll actually just take a snapshot of the QR code and approve it. Instant settlement with your money, and that's NFT. The receipt for that is NFT. So we're going to be using the NFT in all the later ways I've described. The earlier part with the JPEG stuff, that's cool too. That technology exists. We're not going to say don't use it for that, but that's a fad. At some point, it's just going to be oversaturated with bad art, and it is. And you're going to see some good stuff in there too, some good projects, but those are few and far between. At the end of the day, you're going to want what you want with playing cards, really good art, and goods and service, actual physical items will be NFT'd. Tickets, things like that will be NFT'd. So we're going to be focused on the business aspect, kind of get ahead of this whole, glorified JPEG part of the NFT game, which I do. I still like it. I appreciate it. But I think the market has a lot more to offer than just that. So that's what direction we're going. Appreciate you guys spending the time with me. Try to keep these around 10 minutes. We'll be back tomorrow. Hope everybody has a great day and stay happy.